It's Friday. It's been the longest short week ever. This is the week that was. I'm Simon Brown. Joining me for some wild and woolly ranting, Sasfin Securities' David Shapiro and Vestact's Khumalo. But let's start with a welcome to our new, but same, president, and definitely a new GNU.
I, Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa, swear that I will be faithful to the Republic of South Africa. So help me God.
The President-elect has been duly sworn in. The President of the Republic of South Africa.
Okay, the CJ should have used the other hand, but
held his hand.
That being the case. When we were recording last week, we didn't know what was happening yet.
No.
We got the GNU. It's now, apparently it was only signed because Freud and Shabangu wanted a toilet break. But anyway, we'll take it. And, well, Tuesday, the markets liked it.
We've liked it for a long time. I mean, this whole week, you say it's a short week, but for us, it's been a pretty long week and a lot of trade. You know, lots of volume. Lots of volume. Don't underestimate the amount of trade that has taken place. I don't know where it's coming from. I have no doubt there's foreign because we've seen it in the rand. But also, I think a lot of fund managers here are starting to power money into the market. And the depth, there's been a lot of breadth to our market and depth. So it's been a good week from SA Inc.
It has, and Bright, it is. I mean, Wayne McCurry said on Stockwatch on Wednesday, his point was, you know, it's not, stuff was cheap. And this was sort of the catalyst, sort of opening the door and letting it burst out. And this could, I mean, long may it run, and it certainly could. I mean, this could go on for, 5 years if politicians can keep their mouth shut.
Yeah, I was having this conversation with one of my colleagues to say South African markets needed a catalyst, you know, to get the momentum going. And definitely this has been a good catalyst, but now we need that to carry on to actually, get to that 100,000 mark that we should have reached, 10 years ago.
Exactly.
So there's still a lot of heavy lifting to be done. There was a lot of, obviously we all know about the delistings and all that stuff, but the companies that remain here, that do exceptionally well, that are cash generative, they haven't actually gotten, their re-ratings to reflect the actual power of generating those cash flows. So I'd like to see more of that. So more of the same for the next 3, 4, 5 years.
Your only downside is that 80% of our market is non-South Africa.
Yeah.
So your index is non-South Africa.
Yeah.
So your fund managers, which they're not likely to do, is to break away from the index and go SA Inc. and buy the financials.
But that was what was surely happening on Tuesday, Wednesday.
It
did happen. It did happen aggressively, but can it sustain? I like to see that sustain, man, because that's the momentum we need. Some of these companies are really good.
But don't we then need politicians to keep their trap shut?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just it. I mean, you know that over the next 5 years of this GNU, there is going to be moments with, just some politician on Twitter, we won't mention names, just like, Yeah,
you remember that voice note from, was it Neisner, where the Oaks were fighting because of the coalitions? It's just, can we have less of that and more unity, as the name says?
I was talking to Viv yesterday, Viv Governor, and the best thing can happen is that no decisions are made. In other words,
that's a good thing.
Yes,
that's a good. Belgium went a year and a half putting together a coalition government, in which time they had no government. And like the populists were like, hey, this is nice.
Yes.
So the best part of it is nothing's done that's going to disrupt our economy or anything. In the meantime, the municipalities and the DA's influence and that, they start to fix the roads and they start to get Eskom right. All those kind of things that are going to make people feel happy here.
That's an optimistic way of looking at it. And I like that. I like that a lot.
Because what we've got, the big one's going to be obviously cabinets and who gets what and how many from where and all of this. I mean, we know who's out. They just didn't come back to Parliament. We don't know who's where yet.
We will see.
We will see. Also making news this week, Rip Dudumnene, Donald Sutherland and Ronaldo Gauss's political career shorter than the lettuce that beat Liz Truss. The BOE does nothing. Putin has a new best friend forever in North Korea, which is really scraping the barrel. Transnet must pay up Sasol $6 billion and another $2.5 billion to Total Energies. They have no money, so maybe they can just give them the Porto Cabeja, maybe. 15 men raid an IEC office demanding ballot boxes. There are no prizes for guessing for where they came from. And the Concord hands down judgment in the coronation tax matter. And it turns out nobody likes tolls, no matter where you live. But first, let's start with that sticky 5.2% inflation number for May. Here's Gina Schoeman, economist at Citibank.
It is at 5.2% year on year, and that's unchanged, and we prefer to see it coming down. However, given the performance of the currency so far, and that's actually a very good thing post-elections, it does look as if the outcome of the government of national unity is something that's sitting very positively with financial markets. And so if the currency continues at its current levels, we're likely to see quite a nice July petrol price cut, diesel price cut, and that's going to help enable inflation to come down. But let me just also add that even before that, even if we were still back at the currency being somewhere around 18.50 against the dollar, we were even then still going to trend towards the 4.5% midpoint target of the South Africa Reserve Bank by the end of the year.
She makes a great point to conclude there. I mean, 5.2, same as a month before, sticky, boring. But that was all, yeah. But that was, at the rand at 18.50. We can see some petrol decreases. Inflation, if we start to see a rand picking up, we could see inflation come down quicker.
It will. And I just looked, I think Standard Bank have said 4 rate decreases or this forecast, yeah, 25 this year and 15. I thought that was light. I think there's going to be more next year. So definitely at least 0.5% this year, and I reckon another 1.5 into 2025.
I know a big group of South Africans called homeowners who love.
But that's
going to happen.
0.5%
we slice,
increase.
even if it's just 1% sliced off, and I'm trying to do the math quickly in my head, 1% on a R1 million bond is about $650 straight into every homeowner in the country. And this is
straight
big.
to their pocket, so this is big. We'd like to see that. So I hope she's right.
I hope she is. And of course, that then comes back to our retailers who've now got another double fillip coming through.
Yeah, and they've also got, remember, everybody's geared. So you get, you're only looking at the homeowner, you're only looking at the consumer, the businesses along the way, all along the way, that whole supply chain, people get the benefit there of, which falls to the bottom line as well. They're not going to give you lower prices.
No, we're not going to get lower prices.
But it means the prices we have are going to stay here for longer.
And then, and touch lots of wood. I mean, this sort of adds to our positive story with our good GNU.
Well, they might even take the credit for it.
That is shadow of a doubt, right? They're politicians. They will take some credit for it. The Constitutional Court has handed down judgment in the coronation tax claim, and pretty much every listed JC business with overseas operations was watching with bated breath. It came out about 10 minutes before we started recording. The coronation won.
Yes, and you said how much do they have in the bank?
700, 800, 900 million rand they'd put aside in March of last year for this.
We're getting dividends. I'm getting dividends. I don't know about you guys. Dividends. That's the word of today.
I have to say, I got it out of the way because I thought that, I know they lost at the SAC, Supreme Court of Appeal, SCA, but I wasn't convinced that they could win here.
Well, I'm glad they won. This is money going straight to the shareholders.
This is a blow for SARS.
Well, there's that too, hey? Because it wasn't just the billion they would have got from coronation.
Yeah.
They would have gone after a lot.
The problem is they're going to make it up somewhere. They're going to. They're not the kind of people who are going to retreat gracefully. The SARS.
But at the same time, you don't want an autocratic, revenue receiver. So they must know that the law stands, and they must know their place in South Africa. SARS hasn't really done much for individuals in South Africa except for just taking. All they do is just take and do absolutely nothing. So I'm happy to see something, some pushback on the other end, because it's just been a one-way train here.
Mr. Keyswet,
unless obviously if you financially immigrate
he's going to get that target.
So
one beware of every.
Giving tax revenue collectors a target is a weird thing. That
you're not supposed to do that.
It should just be a case of you can what you do. But a lot of JC companies sitting pretty. Coronation, of course, sitting pretty. But it's not a dividend you've got. You're going to get a special dividend. Because
that's what I mean. A special
they cancelled that one dividend to put aside the money.
Yes. So we're going to get a special dividend, and I guess it's going to be business as usual as assets under management grow, though slowly but faster now with
Well,
the
maybe they've got some SA Inc. and maybe.
Yep.
Sasol and Total Energies have won their court case against Transnet for overpricing on the pipeline. 8.5 billion rand between them, with over 6 billion going to Sasol. Transnet is appealing, in part no doubt, because they simply don't have the money.
This is not good. It's not good that we've got the SARS out of money now, not going to be able to make this claim of $1 billion.
And now
we've got the government out of about, what's it? 8
billion.
billion now.
Yeah.
Everybody's got to go find that money. You know, it's going to go to Sasol, admittedly, or hopefully. But this is not good. Somewhere they're going to have to make that money up somewhere, and it's going to be Bright's dividend they're going to grab.
If Transnet is in breach, they got to pay.
No.
I agree. They were in breach. They were overcharging on the pipeline, the oil pipeline.
Yep.
They overcharged the contract, and you must pay.
They must pay back, yeah.
No, I'm not against that. I'm just saying someone's got to finance that.
And I've got to say, for
we, the
Sasol-
taxpayers.
For Sasol shareholders, I know their revenue is about 150 billion every 6 months, but that little 6 billion in a stock that's having a tough time, I think they would take it. with
That's
both
straight down to the bottom line. So
I know, it is, it's bottom line. I mean, they paid for it, right? They were overcharged,
Yeah.
but it's straight down to the bottom line.
Yep.
Thanks for the money. Yep. Well, the orange one, who's also a convicted felon and rapist, had another wild idea: abolish all US income taxes and replace the lost revenue with tariffs. I know it's hip for billionaires to hate on taxes, but surely this is a non-starter.
No, but this is not the first time. We're not hearing this for the first time. And it did happen as soon as, what's his face? Uncle Biden came through, or should I say Mkhulu Biden, came through. He overturned those laws. We've seen it's very easy to do that in the US. So yeah, the president has the power. Let's see.
He wants to not tax tips as well. You know,
Yeah,
tips.
yes.
No, tips is when you go to an American restaurant and your bill comes,
It's a lot of tipping.
it's 18%. They give you the amount, 22%.
Yep.
And that's how people earn. That's how the waiters earn. And I never knew they declared it. I thought, okay, they take it in cash and this and that. But apparently it's a huge amount.
That's because you pay with card. In the old days, you
Yes.
pay. So I always tip my servers with cash, so they
Cash,
can
yeah.
just stick it in their pocket and take
So-
it.
and
Not
it's
not really SARS lying. Sorry.
It's 250 billion that it's going to, that they would give away.
But hang on, he
So-
must make up. He wants to stop taxing tips, and he wants to just
because
do
he
tariffs.
wants the kids.
And tariffs are inflationary, and if no one pays
Guys,
tax, that's
you know
inflationary.
how big the tax kitty in the US is? Over 3.3 trillion. So I don't know, dollars, sorry. I don't know why we're fighting about 250 billion. Let the people have it.
Yeah, let the people
Yeah.
have it. And this whole thing just smacks of
And it makes him very popular again as a
250
populist
billion
because he's going to get votes from those people who actually benefit from. We might be on to something here, this Trump guy that I don't like much.
Yeah, okay, from a state penitentiary.
Yep.
After the break, Tymebank listing, Standard Bank mayor update, and everybody hates tolls.